do the publication.
publish it. Yeah.
Okay, you're on,
Because it
buddy.
might be. Well, I don't have a computer, so you
Oh
need to
God, Christ
bring,
Almighty.
yeah, you
So
need,
okay,
you
so
need
how
to
do I?
bring up
What do I do?
bring up those two images that I sent. That'd probably be the best thing, and I'll talk you through it. It has to do with definition domains and how they interact. Probably ignore that one part because I'm going to speak through that one. Yeah, that's a really shitty diagram. Okay, so the you notice in the repo that I made a folder called Gold, and then inside of Gold there's Gold DCI and Gold Dreamcatcher. Now the reason is when you're talking about the DCI.
What is the DCI? I thought that we had agreed that DCI would be renamed yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't renamed it yet.
Okay, I think
apologies.
you're heavily over-indexing on the word gold. What does the word gold mean?
Gold means definitions.
Why don't definitions mean definitions?
Well, we just renamed it domain. It's a domain. It's inside of this domain.
So gold means okay.
Which one do we want to go on? We can go on.
I think domains. Domains is good. Do you want me to have you committed at the moment, or can I do renaming now?
If you like.
Okay, let's fucking do it.
I prefer if you do it using an AI to make sure that it goes through.
I'm only gonna change folders.
Oh, okay. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it.
Can we do it now so that I know that it's stable? Because it bothers me when a folder structure is out of whack.
Go for it then. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move. Wait, I'm just gonna commit my stuff here. I killed this. You always put these little fucking files in there.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought that was in ignore.
There was no git ignore. I made a git ignore to ignore that file.
That would be why that keeps on coming up. Faux pas. Oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yes, it's mostly the concept, because I think the concept has got legs. Okay. But also, interesting enough, from our previous conversation on domains, the question is how to construct definitions in an area where you could have namespace clashes, you could have concepts that are similar but not identical, you could have concepts that are identical, but you want an AI to consider 2, 3, maybe more domains at once. And if you make it ambiguous, it goes off the rails.
Right, so because you want to, so you're saying that you want to use domains to narrow the intellect of an AI.
Right.
And then even within those domains, you might have what you were calling filters and views, where you want to even further constrain it down.
Exactly.
But domain feels like a good holistic piece of knowledge.
Yes, and it is self-coherent. So if you, I'll let you do your renaming. I've generated a start for 10 definition.
So tell me what is ideas?
Ignore ideas for now.
Okay, that's just a dump space for things that are actual ideas, because I got some stuff in there, whatever. Yeah. Invent a notebook. Why is the invent a notebook different to ideas?
Because I didn't move any of the ideas over to you, but invent a notebook is basically ideas for each of us, transcripts, I'm dumping the transcripts, progress reports, and so on.
Okay, so what's the point of the raw folder if everything is contained within it?
Raw is just stuff that has had no thought against it, but it's like, oh, that could be useful.
But there's nothing next to raw, but you've put a lot of thought into things and burned a lot of tokens on it. Is it superfluous to have the raw folder?
Can I go back to domains, because we can talk about Inventor Notebook another time, but we don't
Sure,
have much
sure
time.
thing.
Um,
Okay,
so
so
we're going.
I've renamed gold to be domains, and I'm going to rename gold DCI to be to be decentralized AI, right?
Yep.
Move gold DCI. Another practice. Never mind. Git move gold DCI to be.
Why not just right click and rename it?
Because otherwise it doesn't show up. It shows up as a delete and a create in Git. But if I do git move, then it preserves in Git how the provenance of the items came to be. Otherwise, it just
Okay,
looks like delete and then add. But git move is like.
that's useful to know. Didn't know about that. I've been just renaming. Okay, so we just ditched a bunch of history there.
It does sort of figure it out, but this way definitely gets it. Like it figures it out. Like if you if you do that rename and then you modify it a bit, it might lose it because it actually has to guess at the relationship.
Yeah.
Git move gold Dreamcatcher. Now this is the curly one, buddy. Is it gonna be called economics? Because I think that the whole thing is the Dreamcatcher.
It's almost like it's the marketplace, isn't it? But we've used that term elsewhere.
Is it the stuck loop? Is this the domain of the stuck loop? Or to put it another way, is it not the domain of the Dreamcatcher? Because I thought that once all the domains were combined, that was the Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, and we've never really got to the bottom of that. Let's put in what is it? It's the
I think it's the stuck loop. Because these are all the participants and the rules by which the stuck loop occurs.
But it's also the discovery of naps and
That's
the
stuck
use
loop.
of naps.
That's stuck loop. Stuck loop includes
the use of naps where there's no stucks involved. It's not a stuck loop.
Consumption is part of the data that goes into.
Yeah, I guess we could call it stuck loop.
Well, yeah, I see what you mean. No, stuck loop is really a component of the Dreamcatcher economic system.
It's like the market square, isn't it? It's like where everyone meets.
Yep. The innovation. This is just innovation.
Innovation, yeah.
These are the definitions that relate to the innovation domain.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Interfaces. What's gold rules?
Right, that's what I want to go through and check with you.
Okay, well, hang on. What's
right?
What does gold mean in this title? Explain to me the meaning of the title.
The rules. So we've just moved the name gold to domain. So we could
domain rules.
Domain rules. And I'll go through and make sure the internals are all correct. You don't need to do that. But these are what it is to be a domain. It's a definition of a domain, which is like a meta definition. And this is a start for 10 again.
Okay, is this file more appropriate to be put inside of the reasoning domain?
It could. By that, it's reasoning about the reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we'll call this the reasoning domain. And then we'll move domain rules into the reasoning domain.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
Right, so what that is, again, it's scraggly arsed, but it is a definition of what it is to be a domain.
What it
What
is
do you,
to be a domain of reasoning.
yeah, what characteristics do you need to follow in order to be a domain such that, and I'll go into the dot 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 later on when you skim through
Okay.
this.
You also need to define what consistency, coherence, and correctness is, because
Yeah.
you say those terms very often so much that they've lost meaning to me. You
Yeah,
need
very
to.
happy to do that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's a separate
So that would
domain.
actually be a definition inside of the reasoning domain.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
We're getting somewhere. Okay.
And actually, each of these probably could be split out into definitions.
Yeah. So
themselves.
you'd have like this top level sort of summary, and then you'd have the more expanded types of rules there. Okay. Hey, this is getting somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So, in order to be a domain, I'm simply asserting this is the kind of standard. Anyone who wants to create a domain needs to do it, and
Yeah.
this is not rocket science, right? Just don't do circular references. Be self-contained, and so on. But inside of a domain, as long as it is self-consistent, crack on. You can you don't have a namespace clash. You just if someone else wanted to create a domain that used the word stucks, crack on. But you need to define what stuck is in your world. So then, if you go to interfaces, Gold Dreamcatcher, Gold DCI interface.md, which also needs changed in terms of the name, of course. This is actually a render of what was previously the Gold DCI and Gold Dreamcatcher, saying what is the lingua franca if these two domains want to be considered by one AI. This is the we've agreed that hey, I'm using this term, you're using that term, and here are the diffs, and here is the additional information that makes it work. So sometimes it would just be a straight one-to-one. It's like you call it tomato, I call it tomato. They're both the same definition, right? We'll call it, tea. Doesn't matter. It could be that one definition is longer, includes a number of concepts than in the other domain. In which case, okay, the interface would split those so that they were self-coherent. So that interface allows two domains to just go wild inside of their own domain, so long as they are actually logical, and be combined with another domain and have an AI understand what the fuck you guys are talking about. Which is why I was talking about lingua franca. It is the common, the common language in order to have two domains that are both logical in their own root. To be able
So
to
you're viewing an
consider by one
interface as a reconciliation or an
Yeah.
adaptation between two domains that have overlapping concepts, but because of the rules of reasoning requiring that the definitions be complete. But I think there's actually another property you're not mentioning, which is that they be sparing, or
Yes.
like they be
Yes,
brief.
parsimonious. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if parsimonious, minimal, right?
Minimum.
Minimal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because they're minimal, you can actually have two concepts that talk about the same thing but share no overlap in their definition because they describe a bigger thing than was necessary to talk about in the domain that they were being used in.
Exactly,
That's what you're getting at?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And
You
the
take two domains.
interface relates the two together. But what
Yeah.
you've done here is you've done a reconciliation, but there's another type of relationship that can exist, which is a dependency. So you could say, for example, that in the innovation domain, the payment processing was relates to the decentralized AI internal currency or cryptocurrency bridging components, because the payment, the value transfer or asset transfer within the innovation domain is enabled by the cryptocurrency bridging in the decentralized AI domain. So that's indicating a dependency linkage as opposed to a same
I agree,
thing.
and I'll show you in a second on my scrappy notes. I'll not go back to that, but yes, exactly what you just said.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so
Well, this is getting strong, dude. This is getting
it
strong.
is, isn't it? So that
Can I
is
just
one instance of two domains.
take a
Um,
brief second? I gotta upload this file here because it'll take forever, because that was a very long time that we spoke.
yeah, go for it. God, it is. Yeah, that was a long time, wasn't it?
Yep. That was a heavy one. Yeah, I felt like I was being a bit of a cunt there, but I could just see the end, and I was like, "It's there."
Yeah,
And
no.
it's there. I could see it.
It's valuable. And
Take
interesting enough, we're
that.
getting much tighter with our discussions.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that,
Um,
and I'm gonna drop it right smack daddy in here. Oh
uh,
no.
uh,
Okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm gonna drop it. Oh, I can't. Why not? Hey.
just drop it there and then send it over later on. Because it's not public,
Yeah.
necessarily.
That's
I don't know. Did we decide? No. Oh no, we decided we didn't care. Yeah, that's right.
okay.
So now,
So.
so what we got here now is we can prove using AI that a domain makes sense in itself without imposing any kind of format or naming convention or anything else.
Yeah, that's what's funny, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
even matter.
And
Yep.
then we can get it to another domain with the same kind of internal whatever.
Yeah,
so long
internal
as it's logical.
consistency.
And then the AI generates an interface between it as a lingua franca and saying, okay, so here's what's shared. And
I think you're using the term lingua franca wrong.
It's probably wrong. I don't know. I'm just coming.
Why do you use that term?
Because of Nassau.
Right, so it's not really
Common language between speakers.
common
whose native
language.
languages are different.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're trying to say with that, but you're not. That's missing something, because you're not trying to replace either language on either side. You're trying to translate, and you're trying to
maybe translation is a better one.
yeah something like
it's
that.
Like domain 1 talks Chinese, domain 2 talks Romanian.
So what's the use of these things? Are you saying that, like, can you guide me through an example of where you'd want to use an AI that used the interface?
So if you go to the scrappy diagram, not the written one, the other one. The written one is just my notes. Yeah. Okay. So what it allows is you can create these definitions, which we know can create good stuff if you point a single AI at just that definition.
So we can create these domains, and we know that if we point an AI at a domain, then so long as the questions are within that domain, we get very good results.
Right. Now, if we want to expand that and say, well, if we want domain 1 and domain 2 as the topic, generate an interface, and then you can point the AI at the all three, domain one, domain two, and the interface,
Why
and
would
it
you,
understands it.
if the interface was altered in meaning to be the overlap, like the union of the two domains, then wouldn't that be sufficient? Like, why would the AI
It could
benefit
be
from having?
at the moment. All I've done is the interface. It shows the diffs and areas that needs to be reconciled.
I think what it really is, this thing you're poking at, is an intersection, where the idea is that if you want to talk with an AI that needs to know about both domains, the intersection is the reconciled and related combination or union
Yeah, yeah.
of both of them together, and then you
could do
just
that.
feed that in, and
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing that you consume.
yeah. So
Because
instead of
otherwise,
doing just diffs, you're doing
yeah,
basically
well,
here's a new
otherwise
thing.
you're naturally going to be passing in more information than is necessary by giving the AI, like, one of the principles that we're drawing upon is that we've learned that if you give the AI too much information, even if it is correct, it degrades the quality of the answer. And so passing in both domains when what you really want to talk about is the
Yes,
union
you're
of
right.
the two domains.
Yep, yep. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
That's it's an easy change to make. At
Okay.
the moment, I went with just diffs, but basically you're saying uh, um, reconcile and produce
Yeah.
effectively a new domain
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
the conjugation between two.
Conjugation. It's the yeah, it's the
That's the wrong word, but
no, that is it's the right word. I was just like, where did he learn a word like conjugation? But it's the conjugation is dependent upon the original root domains. And so
yes,
there are other domains. These root domains, you can build other domains that are entirely dependent on everything below them. Like the artifact implementation domain is separate to the artifact domain, but
yeah,
the artifact implementation domain is entirely dependent upon the artifact domain, and so it would
yes.
be a
Well,
derivative.
that's interesting because what you could do there is say if you've got one domain which is subcoherent, is dependent on a number of let's say three subdomains, and you're interested in only the kind of master domain and one of those child domains, then you could generate an interface and ignore the other two because it's not interesting. You're not talking about that.
Yeah, but you need some way of preserving the lineage in a way that I imagine if the AI needed to dig, it could then look at the parents. Like it's like you're inheriting from these other
Well, that's
domains.
okay because yeah, inside of the domains, what I put is what domain inside of the domains there are definitions, and inside the definition is a statement about which domain it belongs to.
Right. And so really each domain needs to be turned into a NAP. That NAP has an AI agent that can converse in natural language specifically about that domain. And so if in a conjugate NAP, the need arises to know more about a specific domain that is marked as being a parent, then that NAP would chat using natural language to the parent NAP to ask it a specific question. Rather than trying to become the expert in that domain, it would take advantage of the agent-like nature of a NAP to ask
Yes,
equation,
yes,
right?
but also the benefit of interfaces is a child domain doesn't need to have any idea of, say, a universal namespace dictionary, so
No,
long as
because it's
so long as
domain
it's
dependent.
self-coherent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's domain only. And then
yeah,
that means that depending on the use case, we can either the NAP that represents the conjugate can talk to the user directly, or we can transfer the user. The complete user can be transferred over to the parent NAP and
right,
continue the conversation there, right?
exactly. Or you stick your AI at this subdomain because actually that's the more interesting one,
Right.
um,
Yeah, right.
and
Right, right, right.
you
And
can
and
mix
so
and
and so
match. Yeah,
really really what you want is you want these experts around. So when you go and do anything else, you can pull in a range of these experts because you might not like to produce a conjugate is a lot of effort too. And so
hmm
you might want to produce like not a conjugate but just have a collection of agents on hand,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's different
yeah.
to having a conjugation because you're like, well, I'm not going to build the conjugation, but I've got these.
Right, you can have pre-baked, right? Because these are just files,
Yeah, but they
and you point
represent
at it.
they represent naps. They represent agents when they're published.
Exactly, exactly. And there's one other concept. You see on the right hand side, I put Gold 3, Gold 4.
Yeah.
They've each got their interface, and then as those two interfaces can interface to Gold DC in this case through another interface, and it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, but you're getting what Gold 3 and Gold 4 know, and what Gold DC knows through a single interface that you can point an AI at, and it is coherent, and
Mm,
you get good results.
okay. So it's like domains is the same as programming because they look like package dependencies or class
Yeah,
dependencies.
the interesting thing is because the interface is there to produce something that an AI can point at is entirely NL. So you don't have to publish your API protocol. You just say, here's my definitions. Here's my domain. This is what I
Mm,
think.
this is my
And so,
domain knowledge. This is
right,
my
it's all
domain
in
knowledge.
NL, and
Yeah,
here's
and
another
then
one.
it means that when you call API functions or tool calls that are included in an app that has reasoning attached to it, you the chances are that your consumer is going to be able to figure out more accurately, what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, like I think that every nap should really come with a little bit of reasoning if it's a sufficiently complex thing. So, I
yeah.
mean, the CRM would need to come with reasoning describing what terms are and how they relate and how processes work and all that, right? Like that's basically the
Yeah.
statement of the system, which is
But
starting to knock on the door of business rules.
it's interesting because what we got with domains and interfaces, if we take interfaces of conjugation of domains, and therefore is like a just-in-time domain, perhaps.
Mm.
Um, what you've got now is a vector where you can point a single smart AI at it of any kind, and it knows what you're talking about. Um, and so the reasoning of models as they improve and so on doesn't change any of the structure behind this.
No, like the no matter how smart an AI gets, it's not gonna eclipse the reasoning. Like it
Yeah,
might refine it a little bit or give you some insights that a human didn't get, but it almost needs to be there even because it's the only way that humans can actually understand what's going on. Like as a human, we need the reasoning in there as well as the AI at the moment needs the
yeah,
reasoning.
yeah. Because like a single bot, no matter how smart it gets, it's still got to understand what you're actually talking about.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
really the value, right? Like all these companies, it's like if you can have something that has private data that's of use to the AI that gives it a superior result, then that's critical. That's the
yeah,
critical value add.
yeah. Now the interesting thing that was starting to emerge on this, and I'm less sure about this, but it seems to just fall out for free. Is I mentioned is like an NL version of TCP/IP, in that any domain can talk to any other domain by creating an interface and then pointing an AI at it.
No, any domain can talk to any other domain by
The
talking
AI
to
can,
the.
sorry, let me rephrase that slightly. I'll tighten up the language. An AI can reason about the conjugation of any two domains through the creation of an interface.
What? We just agreed that a conjugation is the interface. I thought.
Um, yes,
But
but you've got the interface is like a just-in-time domain that involves the conjugation of two or more domains so that an AI knows what you're talking about. But it is completely agnostic to what those domains are. It could be anything. You could pull in any domains that you want into a conjugation and then point the AI at one thing, and you know it's going to be self consistent and the AI is going to get good results. Now,
no, you
if
lost me. You lost me. Why would an interface and a conjugation be different?
no, I'm using, we're just starting to use conjugation as a replacement for the name interface. Okay, it's the same thing. Um,
Right,
you
but it's not the interface is not meant to be generated by a bot on the fly because the interface contains novel information not present anywhere else. Just like a reasoning domain, the point of it is that it contains novel information not already contained within the LLM's knowledge.
Yes, but the whole point of the conjugation is sure, you can have them generated before and so on, but it allows an AI to talk about uh, um, with specificity using the information on any domains that you want to bring into that conjugation. I'm not explaining this well.
And
Um,
I'm not getting it well either, I think. I need to
okay.
go. I think that I've sort of run my
Yeah.
course for the day, actually.
Yeah. Cool. I'll um, I'll continue to think about this, but there seems to be something really interesting here about having domains and having a method of an AI consider any collection of domains it cares about.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but um, considering a collection of domains is different to considering the interface between the two domains because the link or the interface between them is not obvious from just looking at the two of them. So therefore, the AI will be unlikely for two very well-formed domains where the information is terse, coherent, and complete for that domain. If you just give a bot both domains, it won't be able to deduce the relationship between the two of them in some areas.
yes, but that's not what I'm saying. But
Okay.
I think we're getting close to this stack, and I've just had a phone call
All right.
from Jude, so I probably need to go as well.
Cool.
Let's
Okay.
let's pick this up tomorrow.
Sounds good,
But
buddy.
I'll keep thinking about this one. But the important thing is it falls out for free. If you get a definition of what a domain is and what conjugation is, it seems to fall out for free that you can combine any number of these things. Now, some of them practically might not make sense. Talking about
All right. Sounds like we
grass
started
skirts.
talking about it again.
Oh, yeah. But let me think about it some more.
Okay, buddy.
But there seems to be something that's for free here that could be quite interesting.
Okay.
Right. I better go and find out what